JJ, did you get a bit of an ice bath?
Yes. And I just want to apologize to Kathy. Hopefully in the next 9 days, the $17,000 of damage to the carpet can get fixed. So it was about 8 ice buckets that was put on me. So, but I think it was just for our group, different versions of this team. For the guys that have been here all along, they went through every single peak and valley. I think even this third iteration of this team has gone through a bunch of peaks and valleys. I'm just incredibly proud of our team. It's an accomplishment to win 50 games in the regular season in any year. I think particularly in this year, in this Western Conference, it is. And it's a credit to our players. Each one at different points in time has contributed to winning. They've all participated in a winning culture. And our coaching staff, our performance staff, everybody down the line, so it's a great group to be a part of. We want to go win one more game, and we'll figure out Sunday who we play in the first round.
The way that kind of Luka played on the trip and then coming into today and the rhythm that he's in going into the playoffs, and just how significant do you think all of that is, considering the rest of your team and kind of how it's coalescing?
Yeah, I think it's great for Luka. All three of those guys, Bron, AR, and Luka, I think this last week and a half have really found a nice rhythm, not just individually, but within what we're trying to do and playing together and using each other to create advantages. And we started working yesterday. We spent about 45 minutes this morning starting to just map out. We obviously don't know when we're going to play, but starting to map out next week. And it's going to be important over the next 8-9 days to stay in that rhythm, and we have to be smart about it. But there's still got to be some work next week. We want to prioritize rest and recovery, of course, but we got to also stay in that rhythm.
Speaking of recovery, LeBron checked out halfway through the third quarter, didn't return. We saw a wrap on his left side. Can you tell us anything about how he's feeling?
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Are you Eagles fan?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I only root for winners. I only root for winners. The Eagles, Florida Gators. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, JJ, entering into media day, your first season, you said this is going to take time. You guys clinched the third seed. You just had multiple ice buckets poured on you. How would you say your first season went?
It's not done. And I spent all of 3.5 minutes on the flight back from Dallas just thinking about making the playoffs and thinking about the coaching profession. And I think as a coach, you're obviously judged on regular season wins and losses and your ability to get to the playoffs. But I think the other two things that you're really judged on are the way you're able to handle the pressure of the playoffs, the adjustments, the in-game stuff. There's still so much work that we have to do, myself, our staff. And then I think you're also judged on the culture you create and whether or not your players and everybody in the building like coming to work.
JJ, to that point, after LeBron checked out, Luka and Austin it seemed like their on-ball aggressiveness offensively and creativity really kicked up. How much fun does it look like those guys are having and the opportunities that they have to attack defenders when they have a perceived mismatch?
Yeah, I thought throughout the game and throughout this last 2 months, however long it's been since we've had Luka, when we've done a good job of recognizing mismatches and gotten into proper spacing, we've created really good offense. And that's not, these guys know it and they're so good. If you have a mismatch and you can beat your guy or you can post your guy, LeBron's great with this. Like, it doesn't just mean you get to shoot it. It means we have an advantage now, and we can score the basketball. We can generate good offense, and I think all three of those guys have been so good with that. I warned them at halftime to continue to play the right way, and that there would be fines if there were any possessions that looked like the Dallas possession the other night. So they came close, but I think they're all going to keep their money.
JJ, Luka's finishing in the paint. Going back to this past road trip, it feels like he's taken a step and looked more like himself with just his finishing numbers. And tonight, I believe, was 7 for 8 in the paint. What have you seen with that part of his game, and how much of an asset is that for you guys, given all the space he can create with his step backs?
I think he's found so he's really good at late decision making. He's one of the best in the league, and probably one of the best ever at late decision making, meaning he can get deep into the paint or at the rim, and then you don't know if he's going to shoot or pass. And I think he's found a little bit of that, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, 55-45, he's found that like 60-40 shoot versus pass, whereas I think that equation was out of whack when he first got here. Then there's the rhythm, just the touch. It all goes together when you're making threes and you're making middies and you're making your post ups. It all goes together. I think that just the confidence level to finish and the burst that he's gotten as he's gotten back into his rhythm. We were just talking on the bench tonight. Like his drives look more explosive now than they did when he first joined us.
JJ, just when your defense is humming and you guys are playing the way you want to do, are there things that you look for that you go, okay, we're locked in? Or and what would those things be?
Yeah, we're not. It's funny. We're not an aggressive defense necessarily. Mm-hmm. I think our greens are probably the most aggressive thing that we do, but we can be incredibly disruptive, and so it's being disruptive within what we're trying to do. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean a deflection or a turnover. Sometimes that can just mean we stall out an offensive possession. And that's one thing. You can get into like our shift positioning, where our low man is, our talk, all that stuff. But typically that's like a good marker of our defense. It's not just forced turnovers. It's how many possessions can we stall out where they're taking a contested off the dribble jumper.
How do you describe like LeBron's role in that?
He's, quarterback is an offensive position, but he's the quarterback of the defense. And a lot of that is his voice, his IQ. There was a play where AR switched onto a big in the first half, and Rui ended up getting deflection, but within half a second, Braun was scramming him out. AR, get out of here, and to take the big. And it plays like that that I think really connect our defense.
Hey, Coach. You talked about in the beginning of the season that you used to use visualization when you were in high school. You'd go to the gym and, pretend you were coming off a screen, take a shot. And then you said before you had the first game here that you used visualization. I was wondering if you still deploy that technique, and what situations are you imagining?
Yeah, I sometimes I do my breathing and meditation in the locker room, in my locker, like my coach's room before the game. But I always, even if I do it before, I always do it during starting lineup. And it's not necessarily a certain amount of breath work or anything like that. It's really just to get me into a place where I feel like I can coach. And that's typically when I do most of my visualization work. And a lot of that is just, who we're playing, how I want us to play, what I want our defense to look like, the on-ball and off-ball actions we use, and then I usually finish with some like connecting plays for our players, and then I'm ready to go.